All right, welcome to the August 3rd special meeting of the Plymouth Zoning Board, August 2021. Before we get started, let's please all say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of
the
the
United
States of America,
to the
and to the republic
for which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty and
liberty and
justice
justice
for
for
all.
all.
And with that, Mr. Sander, you can take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the 9th hearing on the application of Preet for a special exception for apartments over at the Plymouth Meeting Mall. When we left off last time, Mr. Kaplan had concluded his rebuttal testimony, and we continued the hearing to tonight on the record via Zoom for the township to be able to present rebuttal testimony. I and Mr. Conroy have received correspondence from Mr. Amuso representing the township that he does not have any rebuttal testimony to present. Is that correct, Mr. Amuso?
That's correct, Mr. Sander. Like I said, the economic issues, our position is irrelevant, and I think we've been over the traffic issues enough, and we're using the applicant's number, so there's no need for a rebuttal case on behalf of the township.
Understood. Thank you. Seeing no rebuttal, Mr. Kaplan, any comments, or are we ready to move on to public comment at this point?
You're on mute. Give me a second. Yeah, I agree, Dave. Dave, I don't see many people at all to give public comment. I think these are mostly our people.
Yeah, let me just, before that may be the case, Mr. Kaplan. Mr. Gundlach, representing your client, any comments, any testimony or anything else you have to present to the board before we go into public comment?
Nothing to present.
Thank you, Mr. Gundlach. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point we open it up for public comment. If there's public comment, we take it. If there's not, I suggest, as we had agreed with some emails exchanged yesterday, that we schedule we establish a briefing schedule for the submission of proposed findings of fact, conclusions of law, and memoranda of law from the parties. Give the parties a fair amount of time to prepare them and file them with the zoning hearing board. Give the zoning hearing board an appropriate amount of time to review them, and then schedule a meeting to hear closing arguments and any remaining public comment that there may be. And give the board a chance to deliberate and vote, or decide that they're not ready to vote. And we will close the hearing and the clock will start running at that point. But the board will have to vote at a public meeting at some point after that meeting. So at this point, at this juncture, I would ask if there's any public comment on this application. Please unmute yourself, identify yourself for the record, giving your name and your address, and have at it. Is there any public comment?
Excuse
comment.
me,
Yeah.
did you ask for public comment for the hearings?
Yes. Yes. Is this Marlene?
Yes, it is.
Okay, can you use your video as well, please, Marlene?
Yes. Thanks, Bob. You can take them, Bob. I'm sorry, sir. I had a plumber in here. I apologize for that. I'm sorry. I had someone here fixing a sink for me. I didn't hear what you asked for regarding public comment. Is it regarding public comments regarding pro or con for the apartments?
Yes, this is the time. The testimony is concluded, And now it's time for public, this is the 9th hearing on this application. And now it's time for public comment on the application, pro or con. I just need you to identify yourself, first and last name, spell your last name for our court reporter, and give us your address, please.
Yes, it's Marlene Chaikin, C-H, first name Marlene, M-A-R-L-E-N-E, last name Chaikin, C-H-A-I-K-I-N,
Okay. And what's your address, Marlene?
666 West Germantown Pike, apartment 2806.
Is that
That's
Plymouth?
correct, that's Plymouth Meeting.
Okay. And you're free to comment.
I personally am opposed to the apartments being built. I live right here, a block up from the mall. The traffic is a disaster to begin with. I don't understand how even the traffic analysis is even accurate by adding just a few seconds for additional cars for the units that they're proposing to build. There's also a 400-unit apartment building exactly 2 miles from here that has been built and is not even fully rented. It's been open for over a year. I personally think that the traffic inside the mall is going to be even more of a disaster, as a couple of people have shared on here. The exit around where the Shake Shack is a nightmare already. With additional traffic in there, it's going to be even worse. I travel that route 2, 3, 4 times a day, back and forth. Rush hours at 7:30 in the morning, between 7:30 and 8 a.m. going to the Blue Route from Bluebell, and then back again from Newtown Square over the Blue Route back through here to Bluebell to drop someone off. And traffic is bad as it is now. And with the added units, I just can't see how anyone could say that traffic will not be adversely affected there. I think some of the money would be better spent fixing the driveways, parking lots, and roadways inside the mall itself. There are potholes. I was just over at California Pizza Kitchen for lunch. There's a pothole in that entry where the light is at Hickory, right before that little place, the little area where the bus is. It's been fixed time and time again, just patched, and it really needs to be fixed completely and repaved. I can't see why alternate routes have not been considered other than through the front entrance. If you stop left turns from coming in from the main entrance of the mall, there's going to be even that much more traffic traveling around the mall. Those 2 lanes that go down around where Whole Foods is a nightmare as is. People swerve right and left. I don't think changing the direction or the turn coming from Germantown Pike into the Whole Foods Market turn from Germantown Pike is going to make a difference at all in slowing traffic down. It is an okay turn in there now, and I don't think changing that the direction of it, or I'm at loss for word at the moment for what I'm trying to say. But they want to modify it so it's not as sharp a turn. I don't think that's really going to make a whole lot of difference. It's where they merge, the 2 lanes merge together from the Lawn Fall entrance to the Whole Foods entrance. It's just going to be a nightmare all around. I live here. I go that route every day. It's horrible to begin with. The traffic going to the Blue Route and to the Turnpike, coming from westbound to eastbound to get onto the Turnpike and the Blue Route in the mornings. I probably shouldn't even say this, but I go into the lane that goes straight and then merge over to go to the Blue Route because the traffic light would be 2 or 3 times cycle that I would have to sit in. I just can't imagine that it wouldn't get any worse with what they're proposing.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Chaikin.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Are there any other public comments this evening? Public comments, pro or con, on the application of PREET? Just unmute yourself and identify yourself, please. Okay, it does not look like there are any additional public comments this evening, so why don't we schedule a why don't we establish a briefing schedule? Mr. Musso, Mr. Kaplan, how long will you need to prepare your findings of fact and conclusions of law?
Mark's on mute. Mark, what do you think?
1 second. So we will, just to clarify, we will both submit one set of, we will submit proposed findings of fact, proposed conclusions of law, and a memorandum or a brief. We're talking about Peter and I doing that contemporaneously.
Correct.
You good with that, Peter? Contemporaneously? 30 days?
I mean, 30 days puts us right around Labor Day. Let's see.
Oh,
Well,
you
right, 30 days puts you at right after Labor Day. I don't think anybody wants to do this on Labor Day weekend.
No, and I don't want anybody crashing on that. Let me bring my calendar up. Give me-
45, I mean, beautiful.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Peter? I didn't hear you.
45 days, that puts us,
I don't think we need 45 days. Let me just take a look, and maybe you guys are right. August 3rd.
the township would like 45 days. There's a lot here, and that puts us comfortably in the middle of September.
Well, I would be willing to go to the Friday after Labor Day, which trying to see what it is.
September 10th.
No, is that really September 10th?
Yep.
Okay, let's do September 10th. Well,
Mr. Musso?
I mean, I like September 17th. I mean, it's a lot.
Well, let me say this. One thing that can happen is the board, the zoning hearing board has a regular meeting on Monday, September 20th.
Mhm.
And if, I don't know what the zoning hearing board's feelings are on this, that perhaps we can continue the hearing till that date instead of having a special pre-date, so that we can, again, hear oral argument, hear any remaining public comment, anything else from the parties at all, and then close the testimony. That would, if findings of fact and conclusions of law are due September 17th, that would only give the weekend
that doesn't work.
to review. Now, the zoning hearing board may want to continue on a special meeting, and the meetings have been the last Monday of the month. So that would put us on September 27th.
Which not work for me actually this time. I'm out of town at a school law conference.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to find a date. If the findings of fact are gonna be due on the 17th.
Wait, I haven't agreed to the 17th.
I know, I realize that.
I
Give us one more weekend. How about the 13th? And then we'll do oral argument on the 20th.
what's the 13th? 13th's a
13th is a
Monday.
Monday.
Well, okay, I'll do that, Peter. That makes sense.
Okay,
Doesn't make sense to do it on a Friday because nobody's going to read it.
sure.
So to go to Monday, That makes sense.
Let me ask Dave Conroy. Dave, do you know, this is early on, what the situation, the agenda is for September 20th?
I really don't know yet. I could probably know. I'm not really gonna know for another 2 or 3 weeks, to be honest with you, because our deadline to get on that agenda, is like in 2.5 weeks.
Right.
David, let me suggest this. Look, we've had an unbelievably interactive hearing. Zoning Hearing Board has been really involved in this. Let's get the briefs filed by the 13th. I don't think that we need to file reply briefs.
No, I don't think the zoning hearing board wants reply briefs.
Makes sense.
But this is, please don't jam this onto another agenda, particularly September, where everything heats up. If you guys, I don't care whether you find it tonight or not, but I think we need a night where Peter and I can lay out the different parts of our argument. It's been whatever, I think you said 9 hearings. Give us a couple of hours on a night. Give Peter an hour, give me an hour, whatever, an hour and a half, and let us lay this out. And whatever you want to do so that we don't have the deemed approval, David, I commiserate, I understand.
Yeah, we're not going to close the hearing yet.
I hear you.
Yeah, that we're going to continue this to a date certain.
Put it on the record. Put it on the record.
We'll still take public comment at that
Why?
meeting here, oral argument. Let me think about it. Zoning hearing board's got to think about a date for this.
I think we probably have to schedule it now, or we're going to get into the advertising
I agree.
nonsense.
Yep. I agree. Oh, let's look at.
I hate to throw a monkey wrench into this, but if this goes any further than the end of September, I don't think the auditorium is going to be available since we're doing renovations at the building. So the in-person meeting might move to, I don't know yet. I don't have that answer. So I'm just saying, if this happens to be pushed to the first week of October, I can't guarantee that we'll be in the township auditorium. I don't know if that would have to be re-advertised at that point. That's all I'm saying. I'm just trying to be upfront with this at this point.
Dave, are we limited by the legislation or whatever? Can we continue to do Zoom?
Well, we've been asked to go back by the township. I believe that the township solicitor has given an opinion that meetings need to go back in person. I was thinking this is our last Zoom meeting and that whatever meeting we have next has got to be in person. In fact, this board's regular meeting in August, Mr. Kaplan, is in person.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's already scheduled for
I'm with you.
yeah, August 16th in person.
Let's do the 13th for getting our briefs in.
Okay.
And why don't we leave it to Dave? No, you don't want to have to advertise.
Yeah, we want to establish something tonight. I think that the zoning hearing board is going to need at least a week to read what's been submitted.
At a minimum.
And digest it. Maybe even 2 weeks. Mr. Amuso said he can't do the 27th.
I could do the 29th. Does that work for anybody?
Wednesday, the 29th works because it's the fifth Wednesday of the month.
Yeah,
Not
the
for me.
29th would probably be fine.
The magic fifth
Uh-uh.
Wednesday in the month. All right,
I'm-
let's,
I'm not available that night. I'm sorry.
Amy, not available.
September 29th.
Yep.
And I mean, unless something happens,
How about Thursday, the 30th?
and I'm available. The 29th, I'm
I'm not
at a
available.
company event.
You're not good, Mr. Amuso. Tuesday, the 28th.
I was gonna say it's my birthday, but that's fine.
I'm traveling, sorry.
Better
That
work.
week I'm,
traveling.
yeah, those 2 days I'm out, the 28th, 29th.
Thank you.
My apologies.
No.
And we're already going to meet on Monday, the 20th. Is it a problem to have two meetings in 1 week, and we'll look for Tuesday, the 21st is the only time during that week that I can do it.
That works for me.
That works for me.
I'm fine with that. That would probably work.
Tuesday, the 21st.
Great. It's okay with Mark.
so that's what, oral argument, Dave?
Yeah, oral argument, public comment, and if the zoning hearing board wishes, it can vote if it wants to. If it's going to say we're going to close the hearing and deliberate separately, and obviously they've got to vote in public, and that may not come until my birthday, Peter, October 18th. But that's the next regularly scheduled night.
Can I ask a stupid question, David? Why,
Sure.
I have been reading all of the cases on when the time frames run, including Newtown in another situation. You have given you've allowed people to give public comment. That's evidence, and that's in this hearing. I think that you have the right to close the hearing and limit the next hearing or the next meeting, whatever, to oral argument. I don't see why there has to be public comment at that time. People have been here. We've had many people. Why can't we limit this to legal argument from the people, Peter and I, who have submitted the briefs?
Well, I think the answer to that question is the zoning hearing board wishes to, if we're going to not close the hearing and allow, the MPC says 45 days after the last hearing before the governing body. If we say no more hearing, it's just oral argument, that's not a hearing. I'm convinced that if we close it tonight, the 45-day clock runs, and I'm not willing to take that risk, whatever case law says.
Well,
and I think,
let me just say this. I've read all the cases. I'm writing a brief on that right now. And I have your case, so I understand. But if we agree on the record that the hearings are closed and that there will be an oral argument, and that the 45 days runs from that date of oral argument, the Wistuck case says that you're protected. I am not looking to get you into another deemed approval. I totally, but
It's a risk that
what?
I'm not, I mean, it's a risk that the township doesn't want to take of a deemed approval. I can assure you that.
No, David knows what I'm talking about. We
yes, I do.
We want to avoid it. We're pros. We don't screw each other with deemed approval. So,
but I think the zoning hearing board, if we're going to keep it open for oral argument and possibly deliberation and maybe a vote, I think that they want to keep it open for any additional public comment that may come down the line. Am I fair? Is that fair to say, zoning hearing board members?
Yes.
okay, lost that one. Let's go on. Whatever you want to do.
All right.
So
let's
oral
continue this.
argument on the 21st.
Let's continue this to September 21st at 7:00 PM, live in the meeting room. And that'll be for oral argument, public comment, and if the zoning hearing board wishes deliberation and or a vote. If not, it'll have to deliberate and render a vote at another advertised public meeting. But at this point, Mr. Amuso, Mr. Gunlock, are you agreeable to that? As well as
Yeah.
Mr. Kaplan?
With submissions on September 13th, correct?
Findings of fact, conclusions of law, and memoranda of law on September 13th by 5 PM on September 13th.
Sure.
And then, yeah, I'm in agreement with all that. And that's the date that the hearing gets closed. And then we get into this other never land. If the board makes a decision orally, it's when the appeal period starts. And do we have to appeal from that date, or when are you going to then issue a written decision? So we have,
My policy, Mr. Kaplan, is to issue a written decision within 45 days of the last hearing. At this point, the last hearing, if we continue it till this date, will be September 21st. So
okay,
you'll have a written decision within 45 days of September 21st.
so that's October 21st. That's like November the 5th or so, I guess. Okay,
November 21st, yeah, November 5th, Friday, November 5th.
okay.
Is that understood and acceptable to the parties?
Yes, to the township. Understood and acceptable.
I agree, David.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gunlock?
Yes, agree.
Thank you. All right. Is there a motion to continue the hearing to Tuesday, September 21st at 7:00 PM in the at the Township Building?
Am I allowed to make the motion?
Absolutely.
I'd like to make a motion that we reconvene on September 21st at the Township Building,
At 7:00 PM, September 21st.
7:00 PM.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Ms. Levick,
In favor.
Ms. Pagat,
In favor?
Mr. Daly,
In favor.
Mr. Ramondo.
In favor.
And I don't believe Mr. Aprile has called in this evening, so he's absent, though. That motion carries 4-0. We will have Mr. Aprile review the transcript of this hearing this evening and/or the notes of testimony, whichever he feels is best to get him acclimated and see what he missed. And we will see everybody live on September 21st at 7 PM.